Kennesaw. This is the Three Guys Who Love Sports. My name is Chuck Burrs, along with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kinney. How are you, sir?
Doing well. And yourself?
Good. Good weekend with your daughter?
Did.
I know Stormy was out of town. And
Yeah, I got to go pick her up tonight.
oh, yeah?
But, all's good. Oldest daughter became
An attorney this
a
weekend.
lawyer this week.
Yeah, good for her.
Absolutely.
Got sworn in down in Orlando.
Learned that she was an attorney in Orlando. Her reasoning was if she doesn't become one, she wants to be at the greatest place on earth. And as it was, she was, and still spent the day there, and then went back to Tampa and actually got sworn in.
Oh, and in Tampa?
In Hillsborough County.
Yeah, I saw Stormy with her Mickey ears on, or mini ears on.
Oh, yeah.
Posting on Facebook. So that's pretty cool. Those of you who don't know about our show is to support men that are going through mental and physical issues, and they need our love and support. And that started with my friend Steve Pearson, who has prostate cancer, and we wanted to do something to help take his mind off of what he's going through every week. And if we could do that for an hour and help Steve along, and you do something for somebody else an hour, we'll all make this world a better place. So that's kind of what it's all about. What is that?
Can't we all just get along?
Can't we all just get along? So you may notice that we typically have three guys who love sports. One guy is running late, and he'll be here in a couple of minutes.
Right now, we just have two guys who love sports.
Well, Larry loves sports too, but does he really
different.
count?
Yeah, he's a little different.
So we can talk a little bit about our fantasy league, the Three Guys Who Love Sports Fantasy League. You're
Sure.
2-0? Are you 2-0?
Yes.
I am not. I am 1-1. Took one on the chin this week, but feel very confident about my team once Aaron Jones' hamstring heals up.
Yeah, you should be good by like week 9.
Is he going to be that long?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I'm undefeated. Michael Palmquist, also known as Seattle Boys.
That's my boy. That's who beat me this week.
And then Mark War, who you said today's his birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mark. I know you watch occasionally, and we want to wish you and Sandra a happy birthday.
And then Block Party himself, Charlie Brown. He's undefeated
Block
too.
Party.
Blockhead.
Fee, fee, fi, fi,
But
fo.
4 undefeated teams.
That's all there are left.
Yep, four
after 2
winless
weeks.
teams. I did see Farrell at the gas station. He told me that Joe Burrow's coming out of the lineup. So he's not waiting any longer to pull the trigger on Mr. Cousins.
Well, I saw Zach Hyatt this morning, and I said, hey, you won this weekend. And he said, no, lost about 3 points. So that was probably not good for Zach. But his first year in the league, he says he's happy where he is, not 0-2, but he likes the squad. I like my squad.
And, just because it's so fun to poke the bear, Sweetness is 0-2.
Bill, what is happening to you, buddy?
I don't know. Who's going to meet me in the Super Bowl if he can't do it? I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe this guy? This guy just kind of rolls
Well, what's his record?
He is 1-1, but he is playing me this week. So
that ought to be ugly.
This is
I won by like 30 last week.
This is a big week.
Absolutely.
Larry, who do you play? You play Mark War? I don't even know. I guess I play Brent Rittersdorf. So, Brent, I'm coming after you, buddy. It's going to be, is he 0-2 or is he 1-1?
Brent is 1-1.
So he's 1-1. He must have won this week. I know he lost the first week. So a lot of big games coming up this weekend in early season fashion. So
Jockeying for position early on.
can you jockey in football?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just curious.
Mostly horse racing, but
Nay.
I love good expressions. I heard one yesterday, and it turned out it was a derogatory. You gypped me off.
yes.
I've heard that one.
Yes.
Yeah,
That is derogatory.
But it's like inflammatory derogatory.
Yes.
I always thought it was JIPP
It's GYP.
because it was based on the gypsies, and the gypsies ripped you off. And I was like, well, who knew? I was being
Gypsified.
You're being racist.
I was being so judgmental.
Yes.
Of course, that's what I do.
Yes, you are a judgmental person.
So we were just filling in time till Adam the intern. Everybody,
You could have
welcome
gone
Adam
through
in.
baseball.
Look at Adam.
Thank you.
We need somebody young and enlightening and that
You
knows
could
a lot more
have
than us.
gone through baseball.
But we couldn't
without
find
me.
anybody, so we got Adam.
So
that
Ohtani's
mean?
out, and here's a guy who 6 weeks ago was on the verge of signing a $500 or $600 million contract, and it's not going to ever happen for him now.
No, not.
No.
It's his elbow, right?
Yeah, it's basically he can hit next year, but he won't
Not
be able
gonna
to
be
pitch
pitching
until
anymore.
well, no, he can't pitch for another year till 25. So hit in 24, pitch in 25. Either way, nobody's going to pay you $500 million. You're just going to have to settle for like a $300 million.
Is it basically Tommy John?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
I mean, $300 million is just compared to $500
Double.
million. It's just, it's
Peanuts.
It's peanuts.
Yeah, I don't know how I could live off of that.
Yeah.
But the Braves lost another one today to the Phillies. They lost 6-5 in 10 innings, so that's 5 out of 6. Or what's going on with the Braves?
I tell you that they took their foot off the gas or any of that other stuff. You start out in March and you have these goals, and it appears like when we hit our first goal, which was win the division, maybe we just let up off the gas. And, it's one of those things, people talk about, especially with football, can you flip the switch on? Well, there is no proverbial switch. Just got to work on it and try to get ready for October.
Yeah, it's the home field advantage that much in the World Series because, they're only 2 games ahead now, I think, of the Baltimore Orioles, right?
Correct.
And I don't know that it is.
Well, I mean, you would play 2 games in Baltimore, 2 games in Atlanta, and then
Then it goes
3
back.
games in Atlanta.
That's how basketball and hockey do it. Basketball and hockey do 2-2, 1-1-1.
Is
Baseball does 2-3-2.
2. Okay.
So at the end of the day, sometimes if you can steal, to answer your question, yes, I believe home field is worth the battle and everything else. That being said, if you can steal an early one and then you got 3 coming back to your place,
Yeah.
it's not always as bad.
Yeah.
Keep in mind for the Braves this year, when we clinched the division, we had the same number of losses both at home and away.
Oh no, we're good pretty much wherever we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the year didn't start out that way. The year started out we were much better on the road than we were at home.
Correct. I saw something on Acuna splits the other day, and he was 336 at home, 336 on the road, 18 homers at home, 18 homers on the road. And it's like, okay, well, he pretty much doesn't care.
So, the Braves didn't lose 5 in a row, but when was the last time they did? Does anybody know that?
2018.
I'm going to go with that answer. That answer's probably
I think it was
right.
2017. But
It's 5 years. 5 years.
yeah.
But we're the only team over the last 5 years that hasn't lost 5 straight games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they were talking about how they're going to set a record. That's no record. You don't get a plaque or anything for doing that.
you could get a plaque. It's just
Over-
people are going to look at it and go, you got this because you didn't lose 5 games in a row.
Overstats.
For 5
Overstats
years?
again. Too much information. I don't wanna do that.
Although I was thinking about you the other day.
Me
About,
or Adam?
About you because
Oh, okay.
because you and your
because I
overstats.
don't like baseball.
And they were talking about the quarterback sack. That wasn't a stat until 1981.
That's right.
So you don't view that as an overstat. So sometimes
I think that's a
we're
relevant stat, though.
Yes.
Oh, I think so too.
I do too.
I'm just saying, there could be like a new stat where people are like, "Hey, this is a new stat," but it doesn't mean it's any less relevant as some of the big ones that have.
Like war. I love war. It's a great stat
War's a hard stat to.
What is it good for?
to understand.
Absolutely nothing.
Yes.
But outside that, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I just think that next is going to be when we wear white socks, we win this many. We wear black socks.
Oh, we already have that stat.
Yes,
Not
I'm
the
sure.
White
I'm sure
Sox.
that
We have
stat
that.
exists.
Even for the Tigers and not just the White Sox.
Oh my. I think
Lions, Tigers, and Bears. All right. Yep. So pretty interesting baseball. The Braves have what now? 8 games left. Is that right?
I don't know.
8 or
It was
9?
17 last week, I thought, when they won.
I think I heard the day before yesterday they said 10, so it might be 8 or 7. I don't know. Robert's looking it up.
Yeah, it's not many. It's not many. We're basically going to play the Nationals a whole bunch.
Yes.
That's really
And then we
I think
come
that's
back.
really all we
games and
have.
2
And then we come
Lions
back
or
and we
something.
play the Cubs, which I'm going to go to one of the Cubs games.
We play the Cubs.
Yes.
I thought we play all intra-division, intra-division or whatever it is before the season. But
No, we play Chicago because my dad wants to take me to that game because he grew up a big Cubs fan.
well, maybe he's taking you to Chicago.
No, he's taking me to Atlanta.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because his company has tickets at the stadium.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, let's go ahead and get our first commercial out of the way, Mr. Brian, who Larry needs to go see Friday. Brian Risto with Express Lube.
I finally found this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games against the Nationals, 3 games against the Cubs. 10
Okay.
games left.
So 10
Cool.
games.
All right. So, Robert, we'll get into our commercial for Kennesaw Express Lube.
There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castrol Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business where you'll find Brian under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer Castrol products.
Thank you, Brian Bristow, for being the sponsor of Three Guys Who Love Sports. And know that Larry is coming to see you. You need to get under his hood, or at least his cars, on this Friday. So we'll see what happens. Baseball winding down, but, college football is just kicking in. And
Lordy.
Yes.
not a lot of great games last week. There were a few good ones.
There were some good games.
Yeah.
It was a good slate of games.
Yeah, but it wasn't like top 20 against top 20. It was just...
No, but there were some entertaining ones.
Oh, there were some entertaining games.
I am very glad I went to bed when I did and did not stay up to watch Colorado in double overtime.
I stayed up to watch all of that game.
Oh Lord.
That was.
I couldn't handle that one.
I have some feelings about that game, especially the Travis Hunter hit.
Yeah, it's just football. It is, and I know if you read what Dion said today about that, he said it's football. He said stuff happens. I don't think he did it. We've forgiven him for it. He said, but for anybody to be calling his kids family and threaten their life, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
But I agree with that. But I think you also have to look at it from the standpoint that Colorado State had 10 personal foul penalties the entire game.
That's a lot in one
when you
football
have
game.
10 personal foul penalties, I don't know that you're really playing the game. I think you're kind of starting to headhunt.
Well, that all came to a head with their coach mocking Dion about the sunglasses and hat during an interview.
Yes.
Well, if you are the in-state rival, and we can break down different things. Alabama and Auburn are in-state rivals.
Yes.
Either one can win it. Maybe Georgia and Georgia Tech aren't exactly what define.
At one time they were.
Correct. Colorado State. These guys are having to hear nothing about everything's about
Everything's going to change Saturday with that one.
And so I understand. There's only one chance for people in Colorado State to get even, and it was last week. And unfortunately for them, they did not do it.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game though. I tuned in just as they started the first overtime. The Shedeur really turned up there in the last minute
Right.
of regulation into overtime and showed what he's been showing all season.
That's true. And then Hunter got hurt. So that's not good. But
Out for at least the next 3 games, they
Yes.
said.
yeah,
So
I don't think that
lacerated
game's
liver.
on our picks. game.
lacerated
Oh, it is.
liver. I don't ever want one of those. Just for the
Yeah,
record.
keep my
No.
lacerated liver to itself. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But there were the Tennessee-Florida game was fairly entertaining.
Yes, that was a good game.
And I would have to say that was probably my biggest win for the week, and also my biggest loss for the week, because Tennessee lost a lot of momentum. They lost some opportunity.
Huge.
Joe Milton's not the guy they thought he was.
Huge loss. And once again, I joked about how Peyton Manning looked so good in the first half of a game down there in the swamp, and then got blown away. It's a tough place to play, and I don't care who you are or what you think when you go into a a trip to another state and walk into a stadium and there's 85,000
Where
people
you haven't
who
won in
hate
20
you.
years.
Who hate you. And you know that I don't care how cool you are, it's got to affect you. And
Yeah.
clearly it did.
Oh, it did. And like I said, it was a big loss for Tennessee, but there's probably a bigger win for Florida.
Yes.
Because now they make themselves
Yes.
kind of relevant again
Yeah.
in the East.
Well, sure, absolutely.
Especially
because
after Georgia's performance against the Cox. I mean,
They
won by
didn't-
10, and they were, 27.5-point favorites?
Yeah, they look good. They look good in the second half. They didn't look too good in the first half. But I think my biggest win of the week is going to be LSU. I mean, they went into Starkville and they put up a significant number of
41-14.
points
Mississippi State, right?
against it's not a bad Mississippi State team, but to put up that many points after a loss to Florida State is impressive. But I think my biggest loss of the week has to go to the Oklahoma State Cowboys
To South Alabama.
by 26
Yeah.
in Stillwater.
In Stillwater.
In
And they were up
Stillwater.
23-0 going into the fourth quarter, I think.
I mean, you can't lose by that much to
when you're
to
paying
South
a team,
Alabama. Yeah,
you're paying a team $3 million to come and get their
Yeah.
butts handed to
Especially
them.
when Mike, I'm a man, Gundy is the coach.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that's a bad loss.
That is a bad loss.
So doing a little foreshadowing here. I know we got a big game in the ACC this week. How does Florida State look limping into that? I mean, they took care of their business against Boston College, and then all of a sudden, man, did that almost get away from them?
That did almost get away from them. Boston College had a couple of chances to win that
It
game.
was very similar to as Colorado State. Both teams had it, and then obviously one of
Yeah.
them wasn't able to maintain it.
I've heard several opinions this week about, all Dabo Sweeney has heard for the last 3 weeks is that Clemson isn't good anymore and Clemson's falling off. And what better way to show that than to beat the crap out of Florida State?
How about this one? Just to throw it out there. They lose opening week. I slide them into my fourth spot. A lot of other people have them somewhere 4 to 6 before the season starts, and you lose at Duke. And we're all like, oh, what a horrible team. Well, now 4 weeks later, Duke looks pretty serious, and they're still not ranked. Clemson, who has one loss, 2-1, two garbage teams that they scored a lot of points in, and one road loss. What does Vegas think about this? Vegas thinks the one-loss team playing the undefeated number 4 team is 2.5 points. That tells you right now, AP shouldn't have them not ranked.
Well, we
Yeah.
talked about this before. There shouldn't even be polls before 5 weeks into the season.
Absolutely.
It's just ridiculous what's happened so far.
Everything's a knee-jerk
Larry, the
reaction.
engineer, has something to say. Are you like Harry the intern this weekend since
Harry
Adam's over
the
here?
intern.
The polls should start when the BC
With the BCS poll.
When the BCS poll starts.
I totally agree. We agree on something. That's pretty cool.
No, I was making a joke about the fact that there's no more BCS poll.
Yeah, he was making fun of that whole
I was making fun of it.
Oh,
I
okay.
wasn't-
Well, give me my fist pump back. Okay, thank you. All right.
Hey, and just for the record, just because it's one of the greatest trivia questions ever, who was the first number 1 team in the BCS poll?
The BCS poll or the college football playoff?
The college football playoff.
I thought it was TCU.
No, was it Oklahoma?
They had LSU had a really good win there this weekend.
Mississippi State.
Mississippi
Dak Prescott.
State.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dak
that was one of
Prescott.
those. That was one of
Yeah.
those weird years, but they were 6-0 and number 1 in the
TCU
world.
But TCU, I think, was 3 or 4 in
Yeah,
that poll.
probably so. But it just goes to show you, the polls truly mean nothing before then, because there's a argument to be made that they don't mean much at that point.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not until you're 10 weeks into the season do they start
Exactly,
meaning much.
exactly.
Now, the one thing cool about the poll, what's unusual about the top 5 the last 2 weeks, which hasn't happened in
They
a long,
have
long
all
time.
been from different conferences.
Every Power 5 conference has a team in the top 5.
There you go. See, there's somebody. The fix is in. The fix is in. That's
Well,
what
that's
I'm
what
looking
my
for.
question was. Why are we now reached parity between the conferences? Of course not, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And my question for you was going to be, it all depends on what you define as parity for the conferences. Is it all of the 7th place teams tie? Or is it that anybody can win a national title? Or, I mean, there's so many different ways to look at it.
I think NIL has brought parity between the top teams because you've seen somebody like Texas rise and beat Alabama, which maybe 5 years ago they wouldn't have beaten Alabama because Nick Saban has all of Nick Saban's guys, and
he had never lost to an assistant before.
And somebody like Clemson has come back down.
Yeah. Well, we talk about Clemson and we talk about Alabama. They both have quarterback issues.
They do.
The guy at Clemson's not that good. Klubnik or whatever his name is.
Klubnik?
Yeah.
He's not bad.
But no, I don't.
At least he hasn't been benched and then already attached as the next starter.
Yeah.
Like what's going on in Alabama. Boy,
Well,
that's
they did say Milrose now the guy. for the rest of the
Correct.
season, yeah.
But when you say I have no faith in my quarterback, we're going to change, and then you watch that guy. Okay, I clearly have no
Now,
faith in that guy, so I'm going back to the first guy.
Let's go to the third guy.
Did you
the
think
third
they
guy's
went-
not any but
But
good.
do you think they went into South Florida with the idea that hey, we know we're going to win this game. Let's play with the quarterbacks a little bit and get some reps and see.
Possibly, but I heard one thing where they said they were not worried about the size and speed of the South Florida defense. Clearly, they should have been because I think
Yes.
they sacked the quarterback. But whatever your experience is, talking about best wins and worst losses, I don't know how I can put a 17-3 win in under a worst loss. But that one was pretty bad for Alabama.
It was pretty bad for Alabama.
Everybody's waiting for that other shoe to drop and Alabama to start looking like Alabama, and they're just not yet.
Now, and which makes this game this weekend even more interesting. We'll talk about that when we get into our
Absolutely.
picks in segment 4. But yeah, college football's out there now. I mean, it's there's a lot of top 25 team versus top 25 teams this week. Couldn't even get all on here. In my betting pool with my poker buddies, I went 5-2 this weekend. I picked 5 games right, and the one game I missed was my double, and that was Kansas State laying 3.5 at Missouri. And the guy kicks a 61-yard field goal to end the game.
The chubby kicker.
Yeah, he was a half.
So I heard.
61 yards.
I still haven't seen what the man looked like, but I've heard him described twice, and one guy said he's pretty much looks like a dishwasher. He's about that tall. He's about that wide.
The punter from, was it Georgia Tech that plays for the Steelers now?
Harvey.
Yes.
Terry Harvin.
That's what
Terry
he looks
Harvin.
like.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like.
Yep, he does. But, if he can kick a ball 61 yards,
Yeah.
God bless him, right? That's pretty amazing.
You're going to get paid for a little while.
Yeah. So that's the only game I missed in college this week. I picked, who all did I pick? I had Maryland. My first game was Maryland minus 18.5 against Virginia. And I started watching that game.
Yeah, Virginia's
And
bad.
but they went up 14-0.
Yes,
and then
they did.
they reeled off 42 straight points after that. So I was sweating that a little bit for about the middle of the third quarter, and then they just stomped on them and put it away. I can't even remember who else I had. Oh, I had Duke minus 18.5 against somebody. They won. It was some good games. I mean,
There were some
they were
good
all
games.
close.
This week's going to be some really good games.
Really, really good games this weekend. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Of course, it's football season, and that makes everything great. It really does.
I'm a little saddened that Oregon State and Washington State have to play this week.
Too early in the season?
Well, they're the two cast-offs from the pack who still
Yeah.
can't find a home. Man, it'd be fun to watch them beat off some of these other teams and then play each other in week 8 or 9 or whatever. But yeah,
You know who's looked good, though?
DJ.
DJ Uiagalelei.
I told you before the season started.
Adam just wanted to say that.
I know, and
Well, but he's also looked really good this
He
season.
has. He has. I watched a couple of games with him.
he had 284 yards passing this past week.
Yeah.
I tell you, who else looked good was Ole Miss against Tech. I mean, I know Tech's
Yes.
not great, but Tech fought back. They were a touchdown down with about 5 minutes to play and then gave up a lot because they were 18-point favorites too. And then our tub, that was the spread, and Tech went for 2 late and brought it back to 18. And there was only like a minute and a half left, and then if Ole Miss didn't go down and score with a few seconds left. But, they're not a bad football team.
No, Jackson Dart's a good quarterback.
Yep.
I'm not sure why Spencer Sanders went from Oklahoma State to sit behind Jackson Dart on the bench at Ole Miss. But
Yeah, he was darting all over the place Friday night
But it's kind of
or
interesting.
Saturday.
Blah, 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 blah. It's kind of interesting how, we talked about the portal and how this could work and that could work. But when you look at the top 25, whether it be Spencer Rattler or DJ or who's the guy for
Penix?
Oregon?
No,
Penix
that's
No,
Bo
Nix.
Bo
Nix.
Bo
Nix.
Nix, and then
And
Penix.
Penix,
I mean, these guys are everywhere. Quarterbacks transferring. Notre Dame,
Hartman.
Hartman.
This is big time, and
Yeah.
this is what you're getting ready to get used to.
Graham
until
Mertz
something.
at Florida. Joe Milton at Tennessee.
And Graham Mertz played pretty good
Yes.
Saturday night.
He did.
That was an enjoyable
He
game.
didn't lose that game.
No,
Nope.
he didn't.
Nope, and really, and we'll talk about this a little bit with Desmond Ritter, but their job is to not lose the game. That's their job, is not lose the game. Don't throw the ball away. Don't turn the ball over. Just play standard offense, score some points, and let your defense stop them.
Yeah, I don't think that works for a lot of places though.
It doesn't. You're right.
Georgia can do some stuff like that early in their schedule or whatever. But if you're not figuring out who's going to be the guy in the game, when you get to the game, you ain't got a guy.
And that's what happened in the first half.
And they got
Carson.
another 42-point favorite game this weekend.
And,
then they get back out of their high school schedule and play some teams. So
But you have to figure it out. You have to push the envelope with these guys.
Are they
Yeah.
playing UAB this week?
the Blazers, yeah.
Yes.
The Blazers.
42 and a half. Georgia hasn't covered the spread yet this year. They pushed 1 week, but that was another game I had. I took South Carolina plus 27 and a half.
Is it good bet?
Covered in the first game, didn't they?
No, that was
No.
Ball. Was it Ball? No, Ball State
Ball
is the
State.
one they pushed.
They
Ball
pushed
State
Ball
was the
State.
push. I thought the first.
No,
I don't even remember who they played in the first game.
They can
Kent
barely
State.
cover.
They played Kent State.
It wasn't Kent
But
State,
they
was it?
won all of the games.
Yeah, but they suck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
I
So the AP said when they said number one.
I don't know what to tell you what the P stands for, but it's all something. Yeah. All
Hey.
right.
All poopy heads.
I wasn't going there, but okay. So let's get our Alvin Jameson commercial out of the way.
Hey, Alvin Jameson here, the mortgage guy. Are you looking to get pre-approved for a home loan? Or maybe you want to build a house from the ground up? Are you curious, or better yet, is your significant other on your back about making rentals in your current home? Call me. I have options for you. All self-employed individuals. Are you torn between writing off all your income or having to show your income to qualify for a house? I have a third alternative for you. Whether you're a W-2 employee, self-employed individual looking to do a purchase or pull money out of your current house, or better yet, we can't forget the investors out there. If you have that high interest rate, hard money loan and looking to refinance out of it, again, give me a call. I have options. Below are the states that I'm personally licensed in. Call me, 404-587-9033. Again, 404-587-9033. Visit the website, alvinjameson.com.
Jameson for being a sponsor of Three Guys Who Love Sports. Those that are in the bar tonight, you want to stick around tonight for our Owl Show. That's not easy. Our Owl Show. 7 o'clock. We are going to have quite the guest in it. You know who's going to be on the show tonight?
I saw who's going to be on the show.
Are you ready?
Am I getting squatted again?
No, I think you need to squat one of the girls.
I don't know that I think I can squat one of them, not the other one.
One on each shoulder. Come on, mister. Put on 50 pounds. You can do it now. So, Callie Terza, who is a hammer thrower with KSU Sports, and
Well,
Kaylee,
I can't squat her. She's on crutches.
and Kaylee Clark, a javelin thrower who's replaced Miss Caitlin that used to work here, and she threw the javelin. They're going to be on tonight. We may just let them run the show. I know Callie could do it, but we'll see what happens with
I wouldn't trust Callie to run the show.
Callie and Kaylee. What a pair, huh? Yep.
Why wouldn't you trust her? Are you afraid she's going to like throw you through a wall or
You can
something?
borrow-
She might.
You can borrow
She
my
could.
axe.
She
to-
might.
I
I
don't
to
know.
ward her
She
off.
might, but she could.
She kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah, she's a little less potent or impotent when she's on what do you call them? Crutches. Yeah.
So the NFL.
Let's move on to the NFL. So the biggest question of the week is injuries. So a very, very tough
Tons of
weekend.
them.
Tons of them. And God bless Nick Chubb. What a horrible thing. I don't know if you watched
I
it.
saw a picture of that injury from the other side. Oh,
It reminded me a lot of the
That's
Theismann one. I
disgusting,
just
yeah.
didn't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
So
And that's a knee that already had the same injury when he was in Georgia. So if you ever wanted to know how good modern medicine is, we'll let you know in about a year.
and if you want to play Mark War this weekend, that's the weekend because Chubb's his back. So tough
Ju-
luck for birthday boy.
Yeah, sad for Chubb.
Very sad. Even I'm sad for him.
I'm from Youngstown, Ohio, so I secretly want the Browns to get off the schneid at some point during my life, and clearly Deshaun Watson needs Nick Chubb, so I'm really not sure how good that one's going to look going forward.
Well, how about the other quarterback in Ohio? How about Joe Burrow, 0-2? Who would have thunk that?
Not Farrell Middleton.
they started 0-2 last year.
Did they?
Yeah, but he looks bad.
He
looks
does look bad.
I heard something the other day that said if they, an inside source said that if they had to do it again, they might just put him on the IR to start the season for 4 games. So now all of a sudden you're 2 weeks in and they're thinking
And he tweaked
we
his-
should have put him on an IR 2 weeks ago. That doesn't tell me a lot of good things for the next 2 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very scary for them.
Who's the backup quarterback in Cincinnati?
I looked that up. It is it Will Greer?
He was a great actor.
I think it's
Oh, that was
well.
Will
He was
Geer.
a quarterback at West
That
Virginia.
was Will Geer.
I looked it up because I was talking to my friend. It used to be AJ McCarron,
It is Jake Browning.
and
Jake
I
Browning.
think they have Will Greer on their roster as well.
Currently, they just have Jake, but
Well,
that could change quick.
They did have Will Greer on their roster.
Yeah. Well, now they're just one Jake off from having a decent quarterback. So, Robert got it. That's okay. All right. So, let's talk a little bit about, speaking of quarterbacks, let's talk a little bit about Desmond Ridder. Robert, are you buying in yet?
No. I'm
Robert,
sorry.
are you buying in yet?
No.
And please explain to me why.
He looks like garbage. He's thrown 3 invisible pick sixes this year, and none of them
But
have
they're
been
invisible.
caught. None of them were caught. So nothing went against us. But clearly, if you keep throwing it to the center of the other team's jersey, that's not a good sign. There's a lot of Kool-Aid. People have been trying to get Robert to drink, and telling me about all these fourth quarter numbers, how Ritter's unstoppable in the fourth quarter. Well, I need a little bit more out of you in the first 3 quarters.
Did you know? Interestingly enough, until last week, he had not, or
Thrown an
until this
interception?
week, he had not thrown an interception at home since high school.
He had not lost at home since high school, I don't think.
I think that might be true as well.
Yeah, nobody ever went to Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
You mean big teams?
Yeah.
KSU went there last year.
I rest
after
my
he
case.
left.
Desmond
Don't
Ridder
talk about my
Desmond Ridder
Jack.
wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't there, and you can say whatever you want to. There's always a good stat to back up your side of the story, but still not feeling it, not loving it. I will say this: in my very limited time of watching a Washington Commanders, and I did say Commanders highlight, Sam Howell looks like a guy who can play at the NFL level.
Sam Howell looks good. I think he threw a pick last week and a pick this week. But they had a great comeback against Denver. Not that Denver's any good. Russell Wilson is washed.
But it was 27 out of 39.
Yes.
He's putting the ball out there, and
Yes.
I don't see that.
I tell you, somebody else had a great comeback was the Giants, because they were getting blown out by the Cardinals, and here come the Giants Giants.
The Cardinals
are
clearly
not
want the
very
number
good.
1 pick more
Yeah,
than anything.
they're not very good.
But they were in both games. They could conceivably be 2-0 with Josh Dobbs as
Yes.
their starting quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the Giants have San Francisco this week, right? On
Yeah.
Thursday Night
Oh,
Football.
yeah.
Does anybody watch
One-
Prime Video?
If
I
I
do when
were
there's
home
football.
on, if I were home on Thursdays, I would watch it on Prime Video.
Yeah, I don't have Prime Video, so I just watch them score. Of course, if I don't pick them in the tub, I don't care about watching it anyway.
Yeah,
But,
that's fair.
Pretty good weekend in pro. I was a little surprised about the Kansas City Jaguars game being so low scoring. 17-9, I think, was the final.
That was an interesting game. I watched a little bit of that game. I think the score at halftime was 7-6 Kansas City.
That's right. Yeah.
Honestly, Jacksonville's biggest problem was they just couldn't finish in the red zone. They got there, and they had Brandon McManus, former Denver kicker. I don't know why I mentioned that, but they had Brandon McManus, and he did a good job of kicking the football. But at some point, you gotta put it in the end zone.
Yep.
Well, the Falcons had the same problem in the first half. They were driving the ball.
Yes. Speaking of the Falcons, Bijan Robinson,
Stud and a half.
he's doing. I'm so glad I picked him in fantasy.
Yeah, it's fun watching a guy who does a little move, and he did it that first week where, he caught it at the 10, his very first touchdown where, he catches it and then he just kind of stops and you see everybody else keep moving.
And then he ran through two guys.
And it's just, he's doing things that most people can't. And,
124 yards.
He wears my team's jersey. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Now, are you feeling better about the Falcons' first pick now?
No, same exact thing I told you before. Jalen Carter, watch what that guy is doing up in Philadelphia. And, our defense right now is, especially our defensive line, and we're getting pushed around. Our defense, we added a lot of good pieces. Bates had those 2 picks in the first game.
And a forced fumble.
And but we're not getting to the quarterback. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. So, no, I still wish I had Mr. Carter.
Speaking of Philadelphia, is Philadelphia as good as is the Philly defense as good as they were last year? Because they allowed New England put up 20 on them and Minnesota put up 20 on them.
Yeah, and that's another team. I know it's just 2 games into the season, but I think most of us picked Minnesota to win the division, and they don't look good at all.
I didn't, but going back to how good the Eagle defense is, I don't know for sure, but Swift looks amazing.
Yeah.
He looks like sophomore at UGA Swift. I haven't seen this guy run like this in 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah, and it wasn't you. Was it? You don't have Swift on your team. Oh no, it was Zach Hyatt. He didn't start him this week. I said, "There's why you lost." Dude.
he looked like a man possessed running. It was like, wow, number 0 looks good on him too.
Well, I think the big thing for Swift is, in Detroit, he was the focal point of that offense. He and Amon-Ra St. Brown were the only weapons for Jared Goff, where, Jalen Hurts can run and Jalen Hurts can dish it out to 3 different people, and
Absolutely.
he's got a tight end. And,
Absolutely.
It takes some of the pressure off DeAndre Swift, so I think it's opening up more running lanes for him.
I would agree with that. We talked about the best and worst losses from a betting perspective. I had no, I wasn't on the game, but I had several guys in the tub on New Orleans -3 at Charlotte against Carolina. And I turned the game on with like a minute and a half left. And I said, oh, crap, 20-9. Because I won the tub again, but I wouldn't have won it if New Orleans had covered. So did you see the end of that game?
They couldn't get away from him.
They drove down and scored and then went for 2 with like 15 seconds left. And pulled back within 3, and that made it a push, and that's what let me win. Instead.
There was 2 Monday Night Football games. Both games were settled by a combined total of 7 points, and both games were awful.
They were horrible.
You
I
meet that
couldn't
criteria,
watch.
they should have been like, "Wow, this is great." These were horrible.
I looked at
horrible.
I looked at the. I was sitting there on Saturday watching college football, and I looked at the slate, and I was like, "Why are these games on Monday night? These games shouldn't be on Monday night." I went Kansas City and Jacksonville on Monday night, not New Orleans and Carolina and Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Nobody cares.
No.
So why don't they have the flex rule for Monday night too, just like they have Sunday night?
I don't know.
Too
Too much stuff to do.
Too much travel.
Yeah, as far as travel with an extra day and this, that, and the other, they figure they can screw you over for 6 hours and move your game from 1 to 7 without buying you a card or anything.
Yeah.
Interestingly, that speaking of the 1 o'clock games, that is the only 1 o'clock game that Kansas City is going to play this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
And I think that's all the Falcons play except a couple of 425 games.
Yeah, Falcons. We play 9:30 when we're in England. Everything else 1:00 on Sunday.
I bet you that will change next year.
Oh, if they could, don't be surprised if we go into a flex.
They don't get into a flex.
There could be a Sunday night game in the near future where.
Well, how about the week that they play New Orleans? I think it's the last week of the year. If there's a toss up for the division,
that's always a good game.
Yeah.
But the division. You got 3 teams in that division that are 2-0. Tampa,
Everybody but the
Baker
Panthers are
Mayfield.
0-2.
Baker
Yeah.
Mayfield doesn't suck.
The problem
they
with
played Cleveland. Who else have they played?
They played Minnesota and
And
they
Cleveland.
played.
who are we talking about?
No, the Bears.
The
That's
Bears.
what it was. Yeah, they played the Bears.
The Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield doesn't suck.
Well, I'm looking at the schedule to see, who would America want to have flexed in there? There is nothing. This is a garbage schedule. The only thing I can really see is 2 weeks, and that'd be the Jacksonville game. Somebody to go, hey, it's a 3-0 team and a 2-1 team. Maybe
About the Falcons?
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to flex that. That's in London.
They can't flex
There you go.
that
Yeah,
one.
there
Yeah,
you
so
go.
they can't flex that one.
So there is nothing that will show on
Anytime soon.
No, because do you want to see Tennessee, Tampa, Washington, Arizona? It's a bad schedule. It's a bad
Or a
schedule.
good schedule for the Falcons, no matter how you look at it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm
All
okay
right,
with that.
So let's get Dan out of the way.
Start throwing some axes.
All right. Hey, don't encourage him. Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, bachelor or bachelorette parties, or a work outing that will have them talking about the other side of you for years, American Access, with their 3 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, and now in downtown at the Works, they've got your answer to the let's do something different. Look us up at American Access or give us a call at 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And we thank you, Dan Fisher, for being a sponsor of the Three Guys Who Love Sports and the Owls Who Love Sports coming up at 7 o'clock.
Hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo. But
Hooty-hoo.
right now, we're going to make our American Access picks for the week. We've got some good ones coming up. Oh, and by the way, I was supposed to go buy American Access today, and I ran out of time. They're giving us shirts to wear.
Sweet.
So that
I
would
want
be
a
kinda
shirt.
Cool. I'm getting you one.
Okay, good.
Yep. Yeah.
I love free clothes.
Yep.
I do too.
Yep.
So, any of our sponsors, you want to see this guy wearing your stuff, send it this way. Any of our fan group, if you've got I'd really like to see Robert wearing this shirt. Send it.
I
Or
would
bring it
also
up here.
I would also wear shirts.
There you go.
I like shirts. I wear them.
He wears them, although you have to get his size a little bit bigger because
Do you go to
he's
the petite department?
No, I go to the
Okay.
men's department.
Okay, just checking. All right.
better not set that axe down.
All right. So let's get-
Colorado and Oregon.
Colorado and Oregon.
Ah.
I'm a little surprised at the
Go
spread.
over the stats from last
I am not.
Oh, do you want to go
Yes.
over them?
I am
Please.
not surprised at the
Got
spread.
'em.
Shoot them up, Larry.
Adam
Speak up a little
didn't
bit.
do
We can't
good.
hear you.
We've got ATI who had 1 win last week.
Yeah.
So what is that? Is that like a 1 in?
1-7.
1 and
1
7?
and 8. He was
One
1 and 8, 1 and 7.
1 in 7.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
We had Robert. You won 1 pro and 1 college game.
Okay, so
Ooh.
I did. We
I'm not very good at math, but I think I got at least 3 right.
You got 3 college and 2 pro.
So 5 and 3.
You know what? It's funny is I've been doing really good in my picks
Yeah.
with my buddy, but I don't connect the two, so I might have to actually start focusing here. I don't want to give you too much here to start the
5
year.
and 3. Wow, I'll take that.
I don't feel as bad now that I know that Robert sucked almost just as much.
Well, Chuck's going to have to go first this week. 'cause I think
Robert
him getting-
doubled yours. Just keep that
Well,
in mind.
yeah, but he only
2
got
is twice
2.
as much, and 5 is twice as many as 2. Is if my math is correct.
It's
Decent.
more
than twice. More than twice.
I was gonna say,
250%.
your math is definitely failing you.
Oh no, it's good. I knew that. All right, so let's get into our picks for this week, and Robert already mentioned Colorado plus 21 against Oregon
At Eugene, correct?
at Eugene.
Yeah, I think so.
So you want me to go first?
Yes.
I do.
Colorado's getting the axe. I think without Hunter out, I don't think the juice is going to be there. Oregon is good. They put up a lot of points, and I don't see Colorado's defense without Hunter being able to hold them back. So I'm going to take. Look, Larry, I got to switch over because Larry made this cute
Look
thing.
at that.
Isn't that cool?
Aw, he made it. Did you call his thing cute?
Yeah, Larry's got a cute side to him. So I am going to
Is
give
it that
the
side that's
axe.
smiling at you?
I'm going to give the axe to Colorado. Axe. All right, Robert.
I'm going to take the Ducks as well. Something screams that the rest of the world should start waking up. If Colorado does cover this weekend, I don't want to bet on them again this year because
No.
I don't understand them.
I think Colorado will be out of the top 20. I couldn't believe Kansas State fell from 15 and to out of the top 25 for losing
That's
to
a
Missouri.
good Missouri team. They're undefeated so far.
Yep. How about you, ATI?
Well, the Ducks have looked good this year. Bo Nix has looked great. They put up 90. They put up 86 against Portland State, which Portland State is an FCS team. And without Travis Hunter, Colorado's defense didn't look good against Colorado State. I mean, he didn't play the second half. He didn't play overtime. They gave up a lot of points. So I got to go Oregon.
All right, so we're all three in agreement on game number 1. I bet we won't be on this one.
I don't think we will.
Ole
be.
Miss +7 at Alabama.
At Bama.
Do I need to go first on this one too?
Yes.
So you still want me
You're
copying
You're
you,
going
is that what you're
first
saying?
on all of them.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. Mississippi could put up some points. Alabama is not what they think they are, and Milroe, I don't know if he's the pocket passer they need. He can run, but I know they only give up 3 to South Florida, but they're going to give up a lot more to Mississippi. So I'm going to give the axe. The Tide will not roll this weekend. It's going to be a very, very close game. I'm not saying Alabama will lose, but it's not going to be by 7. So Chuck gives the axe
So Bama will
to Alabama.
win close, is what you're thinking?
They could. I wouldn't be shocked if Mississippi beats them.
Okay.
Yeah. Like they do the upset specials on game day.
Yes.
That would probably be my upset special if I had to pick an underdog that's
But you're
going to
not,
win
you're,
straight
not,
up.
you're not usually good on those double up games.
No.
I'm gonna take Bama Lama.
yeah?
There's no reason for me to. They've done nothing well, but the same way that Tennessee can't win in Gainesville, I'm sure there's a really long record on how often folks leave Mississippi and walk over to Tuscaloosa to get a W. So
All right.
I'm gonna go there.
So you're laying the 7.
I'm laying the 7.
Well-
I feel a lot better if it was like 5,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just for this.
Yeah. I considered this game. Jackson Dart has played well. They didn't look good against Tulane. And
They beat Tulane,
They
though. They
did.
did
They
cover
did
7.
beat Tulane. They did cover, but it took a last. I think they got a pick 6 in like the last 2 or 3
It was
minutes.
similar to the Tech game where they gave up a lot of points
At the
end.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jalen Milroe hasn't looked good this year, but we've really
rested.
We've really only seen him. We've really only seen him play Texas, and we know Texas is good, although
Correct.
they didn't look great this week. So I'm gonna take Alabama. I think Jalen Milroe is better than we think he is. I think that Texas defense is just that good.
Okay, cool. All right.
It's a valid point.
All right, we have a Big Ten game, or a Big 12. No, it's Big Ten. Iowa plus 14.5 at Happy Valley at Penn State. Boy, that's going to be a tough game.
I'm going Nittany Lions.
I thought I was going first.
I decided to
Yeah.
change that up.
Oh, okay. So Robert's going Nittany Lions. Penn State.
Well, Brian Ferentz is a terrible offensive coordinator. Iowa did put up 41 this week, which was surprising. I didn't know they were allowed to score more than
Was it against one of the
27
Michigan,
points.
I
Central
think they
Michigan or
broke a
something like
couple local laws
Yeah,
and rules.
I think they broke a couple local laws in doing that. Penn State didn't look great against Illinois. They did force some turnovers, but I don't think the Illinois quarterback is that good. But Drew Aller has played fantastic. So I'm gonna have to pick the Nittany Lions.
ATI goes for Penn State. And we are in agreement on another one.
You're gonna give the axe to the Hawkeyes.
I'm giving the Hawkeyes the axe. It'll be a sad trip back to the cornfields of Iowa. I think Penn State, because of Aller, he's
Yes.
played really well, and I think Penn State will cover the 14.5. So axe goes to Iowa. Although they have a really cool thing at the end of the third quarter when they wave
Yes,
to
where
the
they
children.
wave, yes.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing.
They won't be doing that this week.
Especially
Oh,
since
the
they're in Penn
Brian-
State. It'd be a long wave.
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
All right, and our last college game, which I think is the game of the week.
It is.
There are a lot of other good games, the FSU Clemson game, which Adam
Yeah.
mentioned earlier. But Ohio State at Notre Dame. This is probably the most important game that's been played this year, in my opinion. Kyle McCord has come around a little bit. They put up a lot of points last week. He looked good. But, man, I think Notre Dame just has it cooking on all facets. I mean, they got a good offensive line. Hartman's having a great year. They got a pretty good defense. And, and Navy showed up this weekend. So maybe that shows a little bit more about how good Notre Dame is, because Navy's not a bad team. I can't even remember who they played, but I watched the game. It was a Friday night game too, I think. But they were in it. They were competitive. And I'm going to give the axe to the Buckeyes. Sorry, Carol. But I am going to give the axe to the Buckeyes. All right, guys. Who's next?
Sam Hartman is so good. He is so good.
That's Sam Hartman. He's so good.
The running back, I don't even know the Notre Dame running back's name, but he had a great
Estime.
run. Yes, Estime, that's what it was. He had a great
Still
run
is.
against he looked good against NC State. And Kyle McCord just Ohio State, outside of Marvin Harrison, Ohio State just hasn't looked that good this year. I know I think it's in Notre Dame.
It's at Notre Dame.
It's
yeah.
at Notre Dame, so I'm going to have to give the edge to the Fighting Irish.
Touchdown,
Touchdown,
Jesus
Jesus.
is already looking down on the field.
They've been playing together since they were like 7 or 8 years old. Kyle McCord and Marvin Harrison.
Yes.
They've been friends their whole
that's-
life.
That's Robert's.
Oh, okay.
thing. That's.
He's going to probably go take Notre
I
Dame,
think
too.
he's going to take Notre Dame.
I'm not going to take Notre Dame. 2 reasons. One, both you numbskulls did, and I'm always looking to be different. 2, I'm a Notre Dame
Mission accomplished.
I'm a Notre Dame fan at birth. I'm pretty far removed, but I was born in the state of Ohio, so I do root for Ohio State one weekend out of the year. This is a tough game.
It really is going to be
yeah.
a good football
It's
game.
gonna be a good game.
I have no real good reason except for if I take Ohio State, I'll be happy if Notre Dame wins, and okay if I win. So that's
OSU for the Robert.
OSU for me.
All right, go Buckeyes. And not the horseshoe.
I'm the Ohio State University.
The dotting the I is another tradition of that. So we move on to the pros. Thursday night game. We have the 1-1 New York Giants at San Francisco.
I'll take the Niners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't want to wait too long on that one.
I don't know if the Giants are bad or if the Cowboys are good, but the Giants didn't look great against Arizona. The fact that they only barely beat a Josh Dobbs-led Arizona team doesn't swing me in their favor, so I'm going to take the Niners.
49ers for ATI.
Yes.
I am not taking the 49ers. I am taking the Giants. Of course, it is as the axe is going to the New York Giants. So, in a way, I am taking the 49ers. So,
Yes, you are.
yeah, so axe goes to the Giants. I think
at
I
the end
think-
of the day,
I think San Francisco's just got too many weapons.
I think San Francisco's super talented. And going back to what you were talking about, ATI, you know, they were outclassed in that first game, 40-0, and the only reason why they have a win is because they were playing the
Arizona.
horrible Cardinal team.
Yeah.
Yep. I would agree with that. Although Zach Ertz got me a few points, that was
Yeah.
nice. All right, our second pro game, the aforementioned Philadelphia Eagles, laying 5 at Tampa Bay. That's a lot to lay on the road, but as ATI mentioned, Baker Mayfield's having a good year. Mike Evans went off last weekend.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Great weekend. I just, on a hunch, I'm going to give the axe to the Eagles. I think Tampa Bay in the heat down there will stay within 5. So I'm going to give the axe to the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's like a savvy pick you're doing.
You think I'm savvy?
No, I just
I
said it
knew
was
that
a
was
savvy
No.
pick.
No.
All right, you guys. You got Philly -5 at Tampa Bay.
I think the Eagles' defense isn't that good. The Eagles' offense also equally isn't that great. I mean, you know, Jake Elliott's got me a ton of points the last 2 weeks. He got me 18 week 1 and 12 in week 2, which means he's kicking a lot of
Bet
field
you're
goals.
getting a kick out of that.
Yeah, I am getting a kick out of that, which isn't good for scoring points. If you're scoring field goals, you're not scoring touchdowns. So, you know, I think Baker Mayfield's having a great year. Mike Evans is having a great year. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay.
TP. All right.
TB, not TP.
All right, here we go. I was thinking of toilet paper, but that's okay.
I hate the Bucks. Take the Eagles. The Eagles don't look good, but you know, if Swift can run half as well as he ran the other day, I think Devonta will go off, and they'll be just fine down there in South Florida.
All right, game number 3, the Chargers at Minnesota, and that one's dead even.
So here's a very interesting one. Did you see that Justin Jefferson got his 5,000th yard?
Yes.
So he's the
I
fastest
know the
person.
stat.
Ever to
I know the
5,000.
stat, maybe.
Do you know which rival he would already be the number 1 of all time?
Can I answer? Because
Yes.
I know. The Bears.
He already has more receiving yards than any Bear in history.
Just this year?
No,
no,
for his
okay, yeah,
career.
yeah.
But, you know, I mean, his career is only 4 years long.
Yeah,
and
when you got
would think-
guys like Chase Claypool at wide receiver, yeah, you don't have too many people to beat.
But you would think that
The
somebody
entire
over
history
100
of the
years.
Bears.
Yeah, that is crazy. What's the guy's name that played? Alvin Hester, who played for the Falcons?
Devin
Hester. Yeah.
But he was a return specialist.
Most-
yeah, but he
kickoffs.
played receiver.
Little
he
bit.
did play a
Little
little bit of receiver.
Cool. So Robert, you're going with?
I'm going the Vikings just because there are so many issues on that Charger team. Either team could win this game very easily. That's why Vegas has it as a even
game.
spread.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go Vikings.
I'm going to go with Vikings too, but again,
You're giving them the axe?
I'm giving them the axe. I think.
Man.
Well, Keenan Allen went off this
Yes,
weekend,
he
3
did.
touchdowns, and
He did.
Aguilar's hurt, right? But
Austin Eckler is hurt. Yeah.
Eckler, yeah. But they hadn't said he was out yet for the game. So I'm going to lean on the Vikings going 0-3. So I'll take the Vikings or give the axe to the Vikings.
They have not said that Austin Eckler is hurt. But, you know, LA's looked okay this year. They lost a close one to Miami. I was listening to something the other day. They were talking about Justin Herbert and how, you know, he could have a Dan Marino like career where, you know, he's got awesome stats. He just doesn't have a ton of wins.
Doesn't win.
And he lost a close one at Tennessee this weekend
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
You know, so the weapons Minnesota has Justin Jefferson. They don't have Jerick McKinnon anymore. Alexander Madison.
Good week, first week, not so good this week.
Yes. You know, they had some fumbling issues last week, but Kirk Cousins played fantastic. I'm going to have to give it to Minnesota.
The Vikings from
The
ATI.
Vikings.
All right, and of course, our game of the week, which truly is probably the best game in the NFL this week.
Other
Falcons.
than whoever the Cowboys are playing.
Yeah. So they played. They started out as a 1.5 point underdog against the Packers last week, but by Friday they were a 3 point favorite, and they didn't cover, but they did win. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to take Detroit and give them the axe. I have not seen a better two-headed running back group than the Falcons have in Algiers and Bijan.
Hey,
They
and
look really, really good.
not that you haven't kicked my butt through 2 weeks. I'm not going there. But, when you say I'm going this and then I'm going to give my axe to this, we're all a little confused on what you just took.
Who did you pick?
I gave the axe to Detroit. I think the
Okay.
Falcons are going to cover.
Okay. Just saying, you could be undefeated every week because I still don't know what you picked. I'm going Falcons. Those Falcons are
you could write these
unbelievable.
down just like me.
I could.
Well, Larry writes them down,
Well,
so.
actually, I'm going to give this to Larry. You shouldn't have to do it every week. I'll just give you this when I'm done.
Yeah, I don't really trust Larry. But
Yeah.
Is it
Wow.
because his eyes are too close together? Is it because you met it?
I don't know why I said that.
So,
I'm
Robert,
sorry,
you're
Larry.
taking the birds?
I'm taking those dirty birds.
The dirty birds.
They look good. I think Algier is going to have a bigger game.
They look good. You just don't like Ritter. Is that what it boils down to?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think they can hand the ball off 37 times a game and win.
And they got Drake London involved this weekend. Pitts only had 2 catches, but Drake had like 6 or 7 catches, touchdowns.
Well,
probably
I mean,
70
Ritter,
yards.
Ritter was throwing it to the wrong team half the game, so you can only
How many
have,
interceptions did he have?
that would be none.
No, he had 1.
He had 1.
When he got
should
hit.
have had 4. He only had 1.
That's the part the guy said. He drove us down the field when he had to. And we got the winning field goal. And then the Falcons had to hold off the Packers. They had 4 downs, and Falcons shut them down. Falcons are better defensively. I truly believe that this team is going to get better every week, and by the end of the year, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
What happened on that play where the quarterback sneak in the Falcons game?
The one where Jordan Love fell over?
Yes.
I
mean, it was the worst. It was the worst play I've ever
Yeah.
seen in my life. It was like, is he just trying to get him to jump off, and then he just kind of.
He's got falls over.
How about that one? Oh, no, that was it the New England game? New England-Miami game when the guy lateral to an offensive lineman?
Yes,
And he
yes.
came up just short? That was wild. You don't see that every day.
But yeah.
All right,
not,
ATI.
Not sure.
Last pick goes to you.
I'm going to be different. I'll pick Detroit. They've looked okay this year. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. They beat Kansas City.
Yeah, but Gibbs will be the guy this weekend because
Yes.
David.
That's correct.
David Anderson. Is that his name?
Yes. So I'm going to go Detroit.
All right, cool. And we never get into our debate about grass or turf. Do you think they should go to all natural grass? Yes or no,
They use grass in soccer, so I'm going to go with yes.
Robert?
I think everybody should be on grass.
Hey, cool, dude. There was a funny story on Newlywed Game one time, and they asked this guy, "What does your neighbor across the street have more of than you have?" And the wife said, "Cars or something like that." And the guy came back on and said, "No, grass." He said, "You haven't." He said, "I wouldn't say that." Yeah, so it was pretty funny. But good week, good picks. We're ready to rock and roll for 7 o'clock. Robert, as always, good show. ATI, good job. And don't forget, next week, right here at Miller's Ale House, we'll be here at 5 o'clock to talk more great sports. Until then, guys, know your numbers, cover your ass, get that prostate checked. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Shoot!